So today we're going to talk about what it's really like fighting on the prelims. You fought on the prelims in the UFC a couple of times. Obviously you're on the way to the main event, but while you're still fighting on the prelims, I want to find out a little bit more about it and a bit behind the scenes, because MMA fans are nosy, so they want to know everything.
He stands 6 feet 4 inches tall, weighing in at 264 pounds, fighting at a council count 8 man, Mick Parkin!
If we take back to UFC London, for example, starting all the way at the beginning, when do you first find out that you're fighting on a card like that on the prelims? Like, how much notice did they give you?
I think for the UFC London one, I got a big, I think it was like, maybe I got like 12 weeks or something. I got a long time, I remember. But I think I signed with the UFC and I injured my knee a little bit. So I had like about, a year off before I fought. So a few people asked like, oh, what was the long layoff? But it worked out pretty good because rather than fighting maybe in an Apex show or something like that, I'd come to London again. So my debut was obviously London. So rather than like rush it, fight straight away, the injury sort of held us back a little bit. Then I managed to get the call up to UFC London. I think the match was up with my opponent. I said I definitely got like 12 weeks. I remember like a longer time to train and stuff like that. But like I say, 12 weeks, it creeps up so quickly. Like you think 12 weeks is ages away. Start taking it a bit more serious, and it comes like 10 weeks, and it's 8 weeks, and it's 6 weeks, and before you know it, it's like fight week, and you're like, oh, it's already happened. So that's why it was a longer time for us to get matched. So a few people did ask, but I remember I hurt my knee, had to get all that sorted out, had about a year off of maybe 6 months for the injury, then training lightly and stuff like that, then got matched up. And obviously it was like, that was just the rest was history.
You said there you get the 12 weeks. A lot of people online, they talk about, fight camp. Is there a point where you start training harder, you know what I mean? Or is fight camp just for you, you're always sort of keeping in a decent...
Yeah, I definitely train pretty hard anyway, but even when I'll not spar, I'll spar kickboxing, like MMA sparring, I might go out and do 6 or 7 weeks of hard rounds and stuff like that. But because Phil's always fighting, or Tom's fighting, or a few of the guys are fighting, like Charles and that, I've always sort of got rounds, so even though I'm training hard, the sparring, I might not be doing 3 rounds, but I might have to help people out by the point I might do one of Charles' rounds, maybe 2 of Phil's rounds, so like one of somebody else's, like Paul's and stuff like that, so I'm always doing like MMA sparring. Maybe it's not the heaviest, while like it's really like, as in like heavy sparring, as in like, we're definitely hard grappling. I feel like we're a bit nice with the punches because we're sparring the 7s, so like it's a small gloves are hard for the big guys, so it's a bit more like really heavy grappling. Not light strikes, but definitely a little bit lighter on the punches and stuff like that. While the grappling and wrestling is definitely a lot harder. That's what we do more with the 7s on. So I'm constantly in a fight camp. I never got like I train hard, but I wouldn't say I pick it up. I might. The only thing I'll actually probably do is I'll start doing like sprints on the air bike and little bits of cardio and stuff like that. Where when I haven't got a fight, I'll probably still train hard, but I'll not do the extra sessions, I would say, like the harder sprints and stuff like that. So now I'll spar constantly. But I'll pick up the cardio if I get like 12 weeks, and then even like 8 to 10 weeks before I'll even start sparring, I maybe just go to Tom's place and stuff like that.
So London was your first one after the Contender series, was it?
Yeah, London was the first one.
So do you mind talking a little bit about like what you like roughly, like you don't have to go into mega detail, but like what your contract looks like at the time? So you've Contender series, Dana's going to give you a contract. What does that look like at that point?
You get signed. I think I got a 4-fight deal with them. I think it was a 4-fight deal, and then they signed you. You win your fight. You get signed. You meet them whenever he gives you like a contract and stuff like that. You get like an email through, and you sign a contract. And then I think to be fair, they were really good because I injured myself in the fight. Them did all of the like treatment and everything. The like centres. I think I had to travel, but they did everything themselves. So I got like loads of like a doctor saw me knee and stuff like that, and give us like treatment better for the. Did I hurt my MCL or something like that, MCL ligament or something? Not like, didn't need the surgery, but I needed some sort of like treatment. So did everything, the physios and everything. So I got a lot of like work off them really, like expensive. Like there's no other show I think where they would do rehab and stuff like that. And they've been really good. Anytime you've hurt yourself in a fight, they've always been really good. So I got the 4-fight contract. They sorted us out with the deal, and they obviously offered us a fight. But I said I was injured, so they knew. And I think I might have emailed them first and said, I'm finally back training now, like, any time. And then My friend, well, Tom was saying that was coming to, I think it was July. It was something like that, I think. It was coming to July, so even rather than I could have come back earlier, I maybe waited a couple of months for the London rather than fighting abroad. I got it in London, and then it was just perfect, really, everything.
The 4-fight contract. Is there anything that says, oh, you're going to get those 4 fights within 2 years or 3 years, or is it just sort of open-ended?
I'll have to look into it more, but I do think, I feel like they offer you at least 3 fights a year. That's like the main thing. Obviously, it depends on injuries and stuff like that, but I feel like they'll give you 3 fights a year, and that's probably perfect for us. That's really what I want. 3 fights a year would be awesome. If I wasn't injured and then a fight come along, I'd be fine. Do you know what I mean? But usually the way it's come, a little bit sore, something like that. Training, like I said, 3 fights a year would be great. Maybe it's 4 if I was riding stuff like that. Just feels like the time frame. It is a lot on your body, the hard camps and stuff like that. So 3 a year I think would be ideal, really.
So let's skip forward to fight day then. You're arriving in London. Do you get there a day early or something to sort of check in? And is there any things you have to do in terms of meetings and that before?
It's more. You get fight week's always got to be Tuesday. So say if you're fighting the Saturday, they'll always fly out Tuesday regardless. So I had to go down London Tuesday into the hotel. Same as when I go to Vegas, you've got to be there Tuesday. It's up to you when you go, but they'll only give you a week. So for instance, they'll always fly us out, accommodators, me and my coach for a week. I'm guessing everybody's contracts are different. Obviously, I'd play the World Champion stuff like that, but it's always me and me coach get flew out then Tuesday. But I usually go, if I go to Vegas, because I've been there a couple of times, I'll always go maybe it's a week before, so I'll come out the Saturday before, and then obviously that's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday on my own end. I'll usually stop at the hotel while they're stopping anywhere. So 3 days on my own end. They'll still fly us over though anytime you want. So I'll pay for maybe the hotel for the first 3 days. I'll be over Tuesday. I feel like it gets used to their time zone, and then by Tuesday everything's all right. So if I just check-ins Tuesday, they might get your kit ready and stuff like that. And Wednesday you might have some sort of media thing, and then Thursday another thing, and then the first thing you do as well, you can put in for food, and they'll do all your foods up and stuff like that. So at London, it's fight week, so they'll just give you, the chefs make up loads of foods for you, so you'll have a breakfast, dinner, tea off them, stuff like that, a sweet treat every day. And then obviously when you're in Vegas, rather than that, you go to the PI and they'll do all your foods up there fight week as well. God, it's amazing. I get full tracksuit, loads of stuff to train in, big gym bag and stuff like that, trainers, all sorts, and then obviously the food as well is all free. And supplements, they'll give you loads of creatine, electrolyte drinks and stuff like that, and cod liver oil, multivitamin stuff like that. So you get a big box of supplements as well off them as well fight week.
When you're fought on amateur shows, you get rules meetings and that. Is there any sort of similar thing with the UFC where they give you a sort of refresher on, I don't know if rules have changed or scoring, if that's changed, you know what I mean, with the judges?
Yeah, you go, you'll always go a little meeting. Dana White or something, he's never done it for me. Somebody else always comes in and gives you a little rules meeting, tells you about the fight, tells you about your bonuses and stuff like that. Then on fight day, usually your ref will come up to you, he must speak to your opponent, come to see you, and we're oh hi Mick, how you doing, so all your general stuff. It's pretty good. They'll also ask you is any doubts about your opponent? Meaning does your opponent grab the fence or anything like that? If you wants to know about anything, all the time I've been nah, there's nothing, and he's if they've judged me before, they'll say, I've judged them before and I haven't noticed anything, but you give us your take and I'll look out for it. So for instance, if somebody's grabbing the fence is the main one, he always grabs the fence from this position, he'll be I'll keep an eye on it and stuff like that. Then you must ask your opponent, have you got any doubts about what Mick does or anything like that? So talk you through that, they'll give you they'll just behind the ears, don't hit the head. And then obviously because the rules are changing from the MMA, 2 hands down is now not a ground opponent, so you get kneed in the head. So you sport that, but they were nothing's changing yet. I don't know if it's changing November, so the next fight they'll probably come in and say, remember, 2 hands down now is a downed opponent, rather than before you would class as a downed opponent.
It's interesting that talking about your opponent and finding out if you have any worries about them. I didn't know they would do stuff like that, but I guess there is fighters who are known for maybe having the fingers out or grabbing the fence and stuff, so it makes sense.
It's better really, isn't it? I think the judges always come to say, the refs always comes up to say, and just tells you everything, asks you about. It's pretty good, so it gets out on the table, and then because obviously there'll be a lot of times you're fighting somebody, you're it's dead dirty, you might grab the short. At least he's then looking out for it and stuff like that. But I've never had an opponent yet where I've had to mention it to the ref. I think everybody's pretty okay really.
But at the events, do you bump into the commentary team and Dana very much, or do you not see them very often?
haven't really seen Dana. I saw him once at the PI. He must have been working, so I saw him at the PI. He just said like just a hello or stuff like that. And obviously at the contender series, I saw him. Then when I went to UFC London, I think like Bisbane, that took me to. I think it was my first fight. I was like with Bisbane, Paul Felder, and a few of the commentaries, and they'd ask you like, just general stuff, like a bit about you and stuff like that, like how you train, like what's your day-to-day life. I think you just give them little tidbits so they can like write stuff down, and then like say the fight's boring or whatever, they can like build it up. So like you do get to meet a lot of the people first. Well, the first one I definitely remember, I did meet Bisbane, and he was sort of like asking us questions, like saying, good, like just good luck, and then he was like, like, why did you train before? Like, have you done jiu-jitsu before? Just little things they can say, like, when they're commentating and stuff like that. So you get to meet them. And then, like, fight weight, you see loads. So, like, I think, like, I don't think Edwards fought on it, but I think Leon Edwards was there. So you see, like, the world champ. And then, like, the last one, like, Volkanovski was there and stuff like that. So you'll definitely be in and out, especially Vegas and the PI. There's a lot of them who lives there. So, like, Aljamain Sterling was at the PI, stuff like that. I've seen a few, like, I think Volkov was in the PI before, so I think you'll bump into a lot of fighters at the PI, so I think a lot of people go there to train and stuff like that, or live in Vegas as well.
A couple of little things. When do you let them know about like your walkout music? Is that something that you do quite a while in advance?
I think there's like, they've got loads of people behind the scenes who work for them, so you'll get the email off like the health and safety person, so like, your medicals need to be up to date, your brain scan needs to be up to date, like your bloods or whatever, all that needs to be up to date. Then somebody else will email you and they'll be like, like what size show you, like all that. They know it now, so they'll just ask you generic stuff. What size is your corner team, stuff like that. And then like the corner music, I feel like they'll just email you again, but I feel like they'll email you like a week or two before, just ask you and stuff like that. They just ask you the name and they put it down. I think it's fine, maybe unless there's obviously somebody on the card who's got the same music, but then that it's just like a generic email off them. But there's loads of people that work for them, like you get lost and then like you're like, you didn't realise how big the UFC is until I signed with them behind the scenes. There's like so many people out there doing little jobs for them. Yeah,
there'll be loads of people doing like the admin sort of stuff and
loads, like you're doing a lot of them, and then like you see them and you realise it's like a massive company. I know like, you realise it does, but you don't realise until like you're behind the scenes. There's like loads of like the PI's absolutely huge. It's got like hundreds of cars in the car park, and they almost have jobs for the UFC. But like you just think, like you definitely think it's the biggest in the world, but like. If like local shows, it just feels like that sort of vibe. But then when you get behind the scenes, everything like all that goes into the plan, and everything, it's like a massive organisation.
London, you've had the fight, you've won the decision, you go backstage. Like what happens next? Is there much you have to do before you get to leave?
Yeah, there is actually. So, see, I fought 11 or whatever. I fought earlier than that one because it was normal time. See, I fought at 8, 9 o'clock. You go out. First thing you do, I think they take you straight to medicals. So take your doctor if anything's wrong. Look, it was out wrong, but they still check you over. Stuff like that. So I could be like, you've got like a medical person who's signing you, so she'll come to you and say, any injuries? The doctor will check you down, but like, I'm fine. Then she'll be like, you've got like a month to declare any injuries, because obviously after a fight, sometimes you don't feel like you're injured. Then like the day after, you're like, oh God, it's killing. So they'll ask any injuries. She'll give you, I've got a number, and she'll be like, messages if like say tomorrow you wake up and like your leg feels funny, and we'll get you like MRI and stuff like that. So the first thing you go to the doctor, they sign you off. They always give you like a week or two suspension. I think it's just like the generic thing they do. They usually give you like a tub of like this brain health stuff as well to drink. And they're like, just drink that because you've obviously had a fight and stuff like that. Then there's like a woman who sort of like works with you, or like a PR person. So she'll come take you to the medicals. As soon as you're done, she's like, right, come with me, and she'll take you to like the UFC people. So maybe there'll be like not a commentator, but like a PR person, like say UFC TV. You'll go meet her. She'll she'll interview you, ask you loads of questions, and you'll go to another one, depending on the fight and stuff like that. I think I got interviewed 2 or 3 times, give you a quick interview, ask you about how it felt, stuff like that. And then, same again, person, right, Mick, come this way, then they'll take you into like a media room with all like it's all the media really, when you see all the press conference, stuff like that. So they'll sit you down, like obviously you've got a kit on, they'll just talk to you, so like, it's up to them, because I remember the first fight I had a few, my second or third fight, felt it was just nearly one ask a question, like you just got one question, it was just like cricket, so you're like, it's so good. But obviously it just depends on where you're at, so if you get like in London or England, you get more questions. So the first time I got did a few interviews, and it was like, right, done, got up, you left, then she takes you somewhere, I think they're like sign you off, and basically you go straight into the big car, they take you straight back to the hotel. Right. So it's not like you kind of go in the venue, you've literally got to leave.
So you're not allowed to watch a fight, are you?
Nah, if you wanted to keep a ticket, sometimes they let you stay in for a ticket, but I usually get a ticket away to like me mum, my girlfriend, like my dad and that. So usually
So you've got like one admission, like for someone with it to get a seat or whatever, like actually in the venue.
If I wanted a ticket, I think I'd have to keep my own ticket, stuff like that. But like I would just give them away because like to me, mum and sister and stuff like that. So they put us in, pick you in the car, take you back to the hotel, and like that's it. So like I was lucky though, I quickly went to the hotel, got showered quickly. Then the guy who dropped us off was like, "Oh, I can take you back, but you'll not be allowed in." So I was like, "Oh, it's alright." So they took us back, couldn't get in, so I had to go to the front of the O2, and I sat in like a little bar waiting for people to come out, because obviously a few of my friends were like, "Oh, we're still waiting for the final fights," and I was like, "Oh, it's alright, I'll just have a few beers." So I was sitting and people walking past, like, "You just fought?" And I was like, "Aye," and they were like, "Man, that," and they walk off, and then obviously wait like an hour or two before my friends came out.
Gone your fight, you've won, you've got your contract, so you know what you're getting. How quickly do they pay you? How quickly does that all come through?
It's pretty quick actually, you know. So say I fight on a Saturday, I usually always go up by like Monday, Tuesday, they just like wire it through, it's just like a bank transfer. So like it is pretty quick really. I think I've fought, and like I said, by Tuesday the latest, because I do think, because of the time difference, it must be like them sending it obviously when you're in bed and stuff like that. But yeah, usually by Tuesday the next day, like 3 or 4 days it's already in there.
Like obviously we know that you're going to be in the main card at some point. Are you looking forward to more media? Like, how do you find it when you're getting interviewed and stuff?
I do think at the point I'm at now, I don't do that much, so I think it's fine really by me. I do understand like in the long run if you're doing it like every time, or there's loads you've got to do, and then like if say you fight in England but it's a big company in America, you're like up at different times. I definitely can say it could be annoying, but like especially the week of a fight, you just want to get ready for your fight. But I didn't mind it now. I think I'd be like, "Oh, I like it." But if you ask us like maybe a couple of years time, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm sick of it." You know what I mean? So it just depends.
Anything, any like fight news or anything worth saying on that side of things?
There's nothing yet. I'm really trying for the end of the year, but looks like it might be next year now.